What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Arnold Telegaarda.
And the world knows me, Mr. No Days Off, Fred Rosser, Darren Young. Call me something, baby. Drink it in, man. Drink it in.
Fred is rocking what I believe to be Chris Jericho's last merch for now in the WWE.
I'm rocking the Schmedium.
A Schmedium. He's got the drink it in, man.
I got to represent. I love Jericho. He's doing amazing things, man.
Oh my God,
amazing
yeah.
things.
I mean, he's the world champion right now. He's carrying AEW, and he's representing really hard, man.
As he would say, you welcome.
He says that?
Oh, no, he doesn't say that. No, he does say that. Like,
maybe to you.
No, he's like, I want a thank you.
Oh, know? That, yes. I
want to thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So he's not stealing Damian Sandow's stuff.
No,
But he does say that. You're welcome, AEW.
You're right. He does say
Damn
that.
Damn it.
He's funny, man. There's so many pictures of him on Instagram, and they'll be like him with a picture of Cody Rhodes, and he's just like flipping them off.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And what, he might have a deal with the bubbly water?
Yes. A little bit of the bubbly. So they sent him over like 2 cases or something like that. I had that yesterday. It's really refreshing too.
Is it?
Yeah, they sell it at Starbucks.
Well, The Rock's repping water too, the boss.
Oh my God! Did you watch his gym tour?
Yes, I did.
That was dope, right?
Yes. I mean,
he doesn't do that often.
It was spot on, man. I mean, it's just so organic. I'm having goosebumps right now. He's an inspiration, along with Will Smith. The Rock is number one, man.
It just goes to show how organized he is in his mind. It shows you why he's so successful, because he has stuff prepared for the next day.
Yes.
He's got his pre-workout set up already. He's already got his workout clothes prepared for him.
And he's never tearing you down.
No.
Never tearing you down like some people we don't want to mention,
There's so many douchebags, man, on Instagram that goes out trying to be motivational, but puts you down, saying how's the New Year resolution coming along, guys? Shut up.
Yeah, we don't want to mention any names. We don't want any heat, brother.
But it's such an interesting week for pro wrestling, man. So many things going on. It's gotten to the point where I'm kind of lost. So many things hit you from left and right. So many different companies, people getting fired, people getting drafted.
Well, ho. Before we get into the wrestling, let's talk about Moi.
That's right,
the pro. Podcasting by week, whooping up on people's asses during the weekend. I just had 2 amazing shows in Phoenix and Tucson, Arizona for Cactus League Wrestling. Really cool organization. I always tell people that are close to me like you, they ask me, oh, how was the show? Well, I got paid and I didn't get hurt. So that's very important to me. But the fans were amazing. I try to stress to the guys that social media is a powerful tool. Cactus League Wrestling at the moment doesn't have TV or any type of big advertisement. So the best way to advertise is through social media. So I'm always promoting. When I'm locked into organization, I'm always promoting on social media. It's like a second job. So I always ask the fans that come over to me and join the Block the Hate movement, I always ask them, oh, how did you hear about the show? And they always say through my social media. So again, thank you for all the amazing fans that show up at these indie shows. I say, whether it's in front of 100 people or 10,000 people, this is still fun for me. I still get butterflies in my stomach. When there's 10 matches on a show and I'm last, that's a tough spot to fill because everyone has seen it all. So I'm thinking in my head, what is going to get the best reaction in 15 minutes, roughly 15, 20 minutes. If a show is starting at 6 and it's starting to wrap up by 9:45, I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna give these people 15 minutes of the best show that they've ever seen. And I'm always around the crowd, and I legit have people coming up to me in my face saying, man, I can't believe an organization hasn't signed you yet. A major organization hasn't signed you, man. You haven't missed a beat. I'm like, oh, thank you very much. Dude, I'm serious. You have not missed a beat. You are incredible. So hopefully someday soon you can watch me live again. I know you saw me at with Jake Atlas over a year ago. But yeah, man, it's just like I'm not tired after the matches. I'm not. I'm a little achy afterwards, but again, I always have to go to what Brett said. Nothing more than what a football player has to go through. Yeah. I'm a little sore. I Mr. No Days Off is my name. I do take a day off from working out, but I do more stretching and get a massage and all that stuff. So it was a great weekend. Cactus League Wrestling put their international championship on me. Saturday, the promoter was like, "Should I? I'm looking to put the title on you. I don't know if I should do it." Hey, man, it's your promotion. You do what you want. Regardless, I'm gonna represent my Block the Hate movement, and being your international champion, I'm gonna represent proudly. And yeah, I beat a really good guy, Gino Rivera, who was their international champion. And I say I can work him 100 nights in a row because he's got good ring awareness. I had a blast, and he wants to ultimately work for WWE as a referee. And I'm going to do everything and anything I can to help Gino Rivera. If, I was able to get Sean Bennett and Danilo for SmackDown referee, their jobs, and they're able to live their dreams. At this point in my life, man, I want others to, I guess, live their dream too, Yeah. I always say there's room for everyone at the finish line, so I want people to live their dream.
Well, listen, man, speaking of your in-ring work, even though I've only seen you wrestle once outside WWE, I watch your stories, and it's crazy. I'm not just saying this because you're my friend or you're next to me. Like, you're doing your best work right now. You're in your prime. Yeah. You're in the best shape of your life. And I feel like every time I'm watching your match, the way you carry yourself, the way you sell, it has that main event feel to it. You make every match look important, which is really, really cool, man. Like the way you make it so dramatic, even though when you take a bump, like you take a minute, every move means something. And you're basically Freddie Two Belt right now. The Cactus League Wrestling, right? Yes, Cactus League Wrestling International Champion and the Block the Hate Champion. You need to have that Shawn Michaels picture with the two championship like this.
Yeah, I think I'm working for them again November 8th, I believe, in San Antonio, Texas, Battle of the Alamo. So I think if I do retain the international championship, maybe I'll bring it back.
But you need to have the picture, the two title picture.
Yeah, exactly.
It's dope, man. Yep. But congrats on that, champ. Killing it. And again, man, such a crazy week. I don't know if you listen about what's going on in pro wrestling right now, but the one thing that I quickly want to talk about off the bat is Eric Bischoff.
Oh yeah, he got demoted?
He got released, man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got released by WWE.
I thought Bruce Pritchard was taking over his job.
Yeah, I heard that's true. That's what I heard too. So like all these videos that I've been watching, it says why Eric Bischoff got released. WWE fired Eric Bischoff, and yeah, you're right. From what I hear through the grapevine, that Bruce Pritchard is taking a spot, and I just heard that SmackDown is kind of suffering creatively. They don't know any long-term storylines. Nothing has been fully established.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but let me kind of navigate back to what you're talking about. When I was helping the kid, Gino Rivera, I want him to be a referee. I want people to be able to succeed and be able to live out their dreams like I did.
Yeah.
Me bringing you backstage recently in Bakersfield, I want you to be able to experience what I experienced.
Yes.
All the craziness, all the controlled chaos. And we ran into a wrestler, a producer now, that actually brought up that, Eric Bischoff could be shell-shocked. And I was cracking up, man.
Yeah.
I was cracking up. So I think that was a good way to segue back into you. He's shell-shocked. So what does that mean? What does that mean? He's out of the loop?
But I just think of
You
Ryback
heard it.
when I hear that name.
Shell shock. Yeah. Yeah.
But let's talk about that real quick, because I should have mentioned that earlier. We actually recorded a podcast last week because Fred invited me to go to Raw in Bakersfield, and we recorded on the way there and on the way back. So it was like on the road podcast, but for some reason I'm having a hard time airdropping that footage. But we talked about so many things. There's so many things that happened during that night.
There was no walk of shame, right?
Definitely no walk of shame.
I always say anytime I go backstage, they might not want me back there, and I could have that walk of shame where they're, escorting me out. But how was it us just initially going backstage through security?
Well, listen,
Easy.
It was easy. I had no expectation of what was going to happen. I was just happy to watch the show like a regular fan, like no matter what seat we were going to get. I love wrestling, so I was already happy.
When you're with me, ain't no watching a show. It's all about being nosy. And how many times did you hear that?
A lot, man.
About 368 times.
Yeah. So when we got there and when we started making a right where it says WWE staff, I'm like, oh crap, here we go. We're going backstage, and we park where all the WWE superstars park, and we got out of the car, and the first person that we had an encounter with was Zack Ryder. Zack with his purple suit, ready to go, and he was such a chill dude to talk to.
Yes,
he was so happy to see you, man.
Yes.
And I got to tell him that that he inspired me to collect wrestling figures again.
Yes.
What I should have said to him was that I'm a major mark. I think he would have appreciated that. That's what he calls his podcast fans, major marks.
If there's anybody on the roster, hands down, that is so creative, it is Zack.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to have a war of words with him because he'll cut you up and it's such a funny way that you're like, damn, bro, you make me look weak, But don't have a battle of words with Zack because he will definitely roast you.
No, I believe it, man. I believe it.
Yeah.
And it was just such a surreal experience as a fan, because I'll always be a fan. I don't think this thing will ever get old for me. But
you've been a fan since you came out the womb.
Since
remember?
I came out the womb, bro. We were walking around, making our way backstage. We passed by areas like the catering
and the photography area where they take
photography.
Pictures of people, which I'm actually the girl Heather that we were talking to. I'm going to be doing some shots with her, so I'm excited to do that. She's helping me out. I'm helping her out with her portfolio, so that's what it's all about.
Nice, man. And we also got to be inside of the arena before the doors were open, and literally almost all the WWE Raw superstars were surrounding the ring.
Doing their thing.
Doing their thing. I'm not going to break the fourth wall here, but doing their thing. And people were inside the ring as well. And I see Vince McMahon for the first time producing the show. And
because Hunter wasn't there.
That's right, Hunter wasn't there.
Focusing with NXT.
Which he should.
It's such a big conglomerate, man. It's so busy for them.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. NXT's killing it right now.
So
Vince McMahon was so hands-on. I was so impressed to see just how detail-oriented he is. He was talking about certain spots, and he was so specific about what he wanted. And that was really cool. And it's so weird seeing all WWE superstars at the same time, because when you're watching as a fan, you were watching one by one, Dolph Ziggler in person, but then all of them were there, and we were ringside, super close. That was crazy, man.
And for me, not only is it cool to see the WWE superstars, my friends, but it's also the production people at Backstage that make us look so good. And one of the production guys that works ringside, his name is Nicky. We were talking to him for a while.
Yeah, he's fun.
Him and I have had great times. He's such an important piece that no one sees to putting on the show, actually getting the stage set up,
He's been with WWE for 20 years, right?
Oh yeah, he's an OG, and he always took a liking to me. Even before my WWE signing, when I was an extra, 2005, 6, 7, he would go to Sergeant Slaughter and be out of the 10 or 12 extras that are there, he would be like, hey, Sarge, use Fred. So he always had my back. So when I got signed, nothing changed,
Wow,
and for him to remember that, this was we're in 2019, this was 2003, 4, man. So it's amazing to still see my old friends and still they remember those cool stories.
It's really cool. Can we talk about the big moment right away?
Hey man, it's up to you. Like I'm not telling a lie or making stuff up. You're the guy that was there. Pedro was there when I had my encounter with Triple H. You were there when I had my encounter with
Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon himself.
We had an encounter with Vince McMahon.
That was surreal. So the whole show, we were backstage the whole time. We were watching from the little teleprompter, and obviously some of you guys know they shoot main event before Raw. So Fred and myself just got done saying hi, making our rounds, saying hi to a lot of people.
And it gets overwhelming. So you need time to kind of just clear your head. And what did we do?
We just got to the corner, like almost near the gorilla position,
yeah,
but kind of like behind the commentating table. So we were right there behind the curtains, and we were just kind of taking everything in.
Kind of by where they do the pyro-ish.
True.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, so we were just there, just the two of us. No one was around us. And by the way, side note, Fred had his reading glasses on, and it's so funny. He's like Clark Kent when he has his reading glasses on because no one recognizes him until he takes it off. So he had it on, and we were just, making small talk. I was telling him how cool everything is, and Mr. McMahon himself walked past by us, and I saw that he was gonna pass us, and I was telling Fred, "Hey, Vince is coming." So right away we got ready, and he passed by, and you're like, "Hey, Vince." And at the time, since Fred had his reading glasses on, he didn't recognize Fred. So when Fred said hi, he was just kind of mumbling. I couldn't even make out what he said, man. It sounded like an old man grumble to me, like, and he was just passing by. I'm like, oh my god, that was already a big moment for me, seeing Vince that close to me, and he has such a presence to him, And during this time, main event was happening, and in the ring was a Cesaro versus Cedric Alexander. And from what we heard earlier, Cesaro was supposed to go over, right? And that was the original plan. So when the match was going on, Vince got on a phone call, and he was having a little conversation to the side. And by the look of his body language, it seemed that he was like entertained by the phone call. He was laughing, he was happy, but at the same time I could tell that it bothered him that the two of us were kind of like near him while he was on the phone call, because at one point he kind of like turned his back toward us a little bit, right? And he came in front of us, and then he was talking in the boiling room, and he kind of shut the door a little bit.
And I think the phone call dropped because he came out and got back on the phone.
So again, when that happened, Cedric Alexander actually won, and so Cesaro lost, right?
Well, before that match was going on, there was a match before that, and then we eventually had our encounter with him, and then he left, and then that match started, and then we found out that match, the finish was changed.
Right, so I guess that's what that phone call was about. Vince made that change in front of us because he wanted to see if Cedric Alexander can adapt at the spot. And we figured out that's what he was talking about. But anyways, after he got off the phone, he was going to pass by us again. And I'm like, Fred, he's going to pass by us again. Get ready. So Fred took off his glasses. And as he was passing by us, you kind of stood beside him. And you're like, hey, Vince, how's it going? It's Darren Young. Yeah. And right away, Vince was so happy to see him, like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry I didn't recognize you earlier. Like, God, what have you been doing? You look great. Like, didn't he like slap you on the chest or something like that?
Yeah, and I said, Vince, I'm making moves, but I really do miss it here. And then he said, give me a hug.
Yeah. And then you introduced me to him. Oh, this is my friend Arnold. And he was so nice to me, man. Like, he shook my hands like, hey, nice to meet you, Arnold. And what I thought was really cool was he went like this to you. And he was talking to me, and he was talking about Fred. He's like, he's a hell of a guy. And then he just walked away, and I'm just like,
yeah. In promo class, Vince would always say, nervous people don't draw money, It's good to be nervous to make an impact when you hit that curtain, But nervous people don't draw money. And, like, I've had encounters with Vince backstage in his office, proposing to Bob Backlund idea, and I just couldn't let that moment pass and let him pass by.
Yeah.
Without saying hi to him and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a really cool moment. I was able to sleep better at night.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I couldn't wait to like text people like, oh
yeah,
Vince shook my hand. Vince shook my hand.
We should have got a money shot. I'm pretty sure we could have, but like I'm always rushing people because it's controlled chaos backstage. So I don't want to take up too much of people's time. Time is money. So I'm like,
And we also had so many great conversations with a lot of your friends backstage. Another conversation that I really enjoyed was with TJ, Tyson Kidd.
Yeah, Tyson, man. He's my heart, man. He's my heart.
No pun intended, right?
Yeah, exactly. I never want to let him down in the ring. And he's part of the producing staff, the creative team, and
I think we vibed really well because we were just talking about our love for wrestling. We were talking about wrestling podcasts. Mm-hmm. He listens to Eric Bischoff's podcast too. Mm-hmm. We were talking about that in detail. And we're just talking about like old stuff, like WCW, right?
Yeah, he's
like
good with
the
his
96,
dates, man.
97.
He is good with his dates. Very good with his dates.
And he was so chill, man. As a producer, like you're so busy. You've got so many things going on. But the fact that he took his time to just vibe and hang out with us for a little bit.
Sure.
And I felt like we had like a 20-minute conversation with him.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Just talking nothing but wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how at the end when you kind of ended the conversation because you're like, hey, I don't want to keep you busy, man. Like you got things to do. And he's like, I appreciate that. But I love how before he walked off, he's like, I like talking to you guys. Like I was like, that's cool, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you had an encounter with Saxton, who
Saxton, he's funny.
Yeah, he is funny, man. He's always been nice to my guests. He was there well before I got signed in 2009. He was there in like 2007 or 8 FCW. So he's had a wonderful career with WWE. So
I feel like every room needs a Saxton. Exactly. Every room needs a Saxton. He's such a positive guy, and he has that like smile that just like lights up the room. And he's the way he composes himself. I'm sure like there's so many things going on, but he just brings that like positive vibe to everyone by just being there and just by being himself. I don't think he's even trying, like I don't think it's in his head like, I gotta spread smiles, but he's just doing him.
I love how he always brings up the story with my guests that I bring backstage about how the one time Bob and I were doing our thing and they panned to JBL, Cole, and Saxon, and they Saxon didn't shit on it, but JBL and Cole kind of did, and I sent Saxon angry face emojis, and during the break, Saxon's looking at his phone. He's like, "Oh man,
he already knew."
Yeah, Fred's pissed.
Yeah, he already knew, man. He already knew.
He tells all my guests that, man.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I just love how every time he passed by, he's like, "Hey, you're the bro. You're the bro."
People know about the podcast because I don't mention anything unless someone asks.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure a few people that we talked to, they were like, "Oh, you're doing a podcast, right?" So. I think from our David Benoit interview, which got a lot of attention, I think people know.
People know, man. And another amazing encounter that you had backstage. I'm gonna burp. Hold on, give me 5 seconds.
Oh, let it out. Ooh. Let it out.
Okay, here we go. I'm ready. Another
coffee breath.
Coffee breath all day. Another interaction that you had was with your good friend Bray Wyatt.
And I've mentioned him on our podcast before about how he is and
how he embraces you.
And what did he do backstage? He came right over,
gave you the biggest hug, man.
Yeah, and he's got his JoJo's there and his newborn baby, and he still took time to like talk to me, And I'm like, oh man, take care of your baby,
right.
Like you got shit to do because I know how it is at TV. You might run into someone that you haven't seen in a while, and it's good to see them, but in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, this is TV. You got to make sure you got to get your shit right, But regardless, he took time. He took time.
He gave me a hug, which I thought was so cool, man. Like he's just full of life.
Yes, and oh man, he was spilling the tea on some stuff too, man. I'm like, hey,
definitely.
Don't. All right, just please. Like, I'm like, la. You don't have to tell me this stuff. I kind of already know. But
it's that's pretty cool how people tell you stuff because that tells you that they feel safe with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And take that as a compliment, man. You gotta embrace that, and just, people, like, you have that comforting face or people just want to vent to.
I guess. But he's definitely down. I'll have to reach out to him, but he's definitely down to do our podcast. Yeah. I said, Bray, don't you need permission, right? He's like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. That's how he sounds. I don't give a shit. So I think he's launching a podcast with a friend, which is very time consuming.
Yeah.
We make it work, but it can be very time consuming. Just like Edge, he can't do the podcast.
Yeah. So
but we make it work. We got to make it work because we're neighbors.
That's true.
We're neighbors.
And we were having a conversation with Bray for the longest time, and as we were talking to him in the hallway, so people were passing by left and right, and Becky Lynch and Seth passed by us, said what's up to me, like, hey, I'm Becky and Seth, and The Miz passed by us, and what was really cool about that interaction was that JoJo kind of caught up with us, and she was holding the baby, and after 10 minutes of the conversation, she went up to me, was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, I didn't introduce myself, like, I'm JoJo, nice to meet you. I'm like, I know who you are. Nice to meet you. And and
then Bray was like, oh, I'm sorry, guys, because he was saying that he should have probably introduced.
No, I didn't catch that. How funny.
Yeah, I'm like, don't worry, man. Just handle your business.
Just such a great guy, man. All smiles. It's amazing how, like, day and night he is, like, on TV and off TV, right?
We've had so much fun in FCW back in the day. Him and his brother Taylor. You to meet his brother Taylor.
Oh man, we would have talked about conspiracy theory all day.
And I would have been like this, honey. Not
you need
today.
to be woke, Fred. You gotta be woke.
I do not to be woke. I do not need to have nightmares.
I want to live in my bubble and go day by day.
Not nightmares. No.
But man, just such an amazing encounter. I'm trying to think who else we had like a deep conversation with. But we met a lot of your friends from the crew, all super nice.
Ricochet.
Oh, Ricochet, that was your first time meting him.
Yeah.
We went to catering.
First time meeting him. Hold on, give me a second.
While Fred's cooling himself off, we went to catering, and Ricochet was the first one to introduce himself to us. He's like, hey, I'm Trevor, and automatically I'm like, dude, started like just marking out, right? He's like, oh man, I love your work, and Lucha Underground, Prince Puma was amazing, blah blah blah. And Fred was telling him the story of how we met and how we started the podcast and all that. But yeah, again, it was your first time introducing yourself to him, or actually he introduced himself to you.
Yeah.
And
he had a similar story too about how he had an interaction with a fan at the time, and then he was like, "Oh, I don't want him to enter my life,"
Yeah, because he got invited to something from a fan, right? He's like, "Oh, should I go? I mean, this is a fan,"
and now the guy works for the company, so
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's great, man. And Apollo was there too. And wow, I was so close to saying Apollo Creed because of Daniel Bryan. You remember that mistake? Apollo Crews was there.
And wait, what mistake?
So when Talking Smack was a thing, Daniel Bryan called Apollo Crews Apollo Creed, like from Rocky.
Oh yes,
like Apollo Creed, and like the Miz gave him such a hard time about that. He posted on Instagram like Apollo Creed. Oh man, but yeah, you did your whole spiel of like, oh, I'm just here being nosy, and I don't want to be that guy that always shows around, and everyone's like, oh, like, what's he doing here? And Apollo was like saying, yeah, no one feels that way, man. Everyone loves you here, and if that ever happens, like, they can take that up with me. Yeah,
because I would always give him the 411 about Titus. I'm like, don't take his shit, okay? Don't let him bully you. Don't let him tell you do all the driving. I did all the driving. We had our deals. Yeah. But I said, don't let that man bully you, because I've stepped up to him before, and I said, hey, big man, you want to hit me? Come here, hit me. Like a big brother.
Yeah. Titus is doing his thing, man. Like, he's like in the best shape of his life too right now.
Of course, health as well. So, yeah, I saw him at SmackDown Live.
Yeah.
The very first premiere on Fox, and he's worldwide, and that's what he is. It's real life.
And I love how the fact that we got that picture in front of like the Raw sign,
Yeah,
and the WWE sign.
That's the money area.
Yeah.
We want clean images.
Yeah.
Clean images, and that should really be our logo.
It should be,
It
man.
should be, but
we gotta change that up.
No, but I was asking you maybe legal issues or something.
I hope they can overlook us with all the AEW troubles they've been having.
But Bennett too. Bennett was also very welcoming. First time you met him.
Bennett's the man, man. Bennett is the man. He's just such a cool dude, so welcoming, just
He's
over
the
the
white
top,
he's the white
loyal
version of me.
and nice. And Bennett is a type of guy that's always on the grind. Like, he does so many things for WWE off camera. Not only is he the ref, he helps out the crew, setting up the ring, taking down the ring. So when the whole show was over, Fred and myself was kind of walking around ringside, and Bennett saw me kind of like touching the ring, like filling it out, because I've never been that close to a ring, period. Like, especially a WWE ring. And I had the opportunity to hop up on there.
Yes.
And then I was bouncing around. I was like, I took a minute to look around, like, man, this is how the superstars see when they're in the ring.
It's a huge stage, man.
It's crazy, man.
It's a huge stage.
But man, Bennett is such a cool dude, and I'm glad that we finally got to meet in person. We took a group shot together, and we also got to meet. Well, I got to meet one of your close friends, Kalisto.
Oh, my heart.
So nice.
He's Manny to me, but he's Kalisto to the world.
Yeah, and he has a great YouTube channel. I talked to him about that, and it was cool seeing him without the mask.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah. Wait, did you ask me? Oh, is that Kalisto? Like, at first, without the mask?
Not real. I asked you Lindsay Dorado. Like, is that Lindsay?
Yeah.
And but Kalisto, I kind of knew because like his body type, I guess.
Body type, yeah.
But yeah, man, such an amazing experience. The whole ride home after that, I was just kind of like floating through cloud 9.
What about with Randy Orton?
Oh yes! Oh my gosh, man. So I'm sure you told a lot of people this already, but like, you and Randy are close, especially Randy's wife, always, commenting on your IG stuff and all that, and Randy does as well. And when Randy was there, that's the first time that I saw him up close and personal, and that guy is tall.
He's tall.
He is like,
he's a tall dude.
He stands out to me than everyone else because he feels like he looks like a modern day warrior, man. Not only is he like tall, like, oh yeah, Braun Strowman's tall, big, but he's like chiseled and tall.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
And he has like that presence towards him when like he's so close up to you, like you don't think he's real. Like, are you like a cartoon character right now? What's going on, man? Like, you shouldn't exist. That's impossible for someone to look like that. But he was so happy to see you.
Yeah, so I was saying to myself, I talk about this guy all the time, about how he supported me.
Yeah.
I said, let me get a money shot with this guy, for the gram.
Yeah, and he was so happy to do it. And what I thought was really cool was the fact that he wanted to make sure that money shot was perfect. He wanted to do right by you. He was asking you like, oh, how do you block the hate sign? Is it this one? Just hand over that one.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to he just wanted to have a great picture with you.
Exactly.
And I was the one taking the pic, man. And that shot took 10 tries.
10 tries.
And you were like, the thing is, you were happy with the first one, but it was him that kept on going like, oh man, like I look like
the first one was like off the set,
off the set,
like it was blurry as shit. He's like, no, the lighting's bad. I said, all right, well, let's do it on the set,
Yeah.
And then he dropped everything and he got that money shot for us.
I'm not kidding. It was 10 times. Like, I think I sent you I airdropped all the pics, right? And it was so many of them. And he will say things like, oh, I'm not smiling in that one. You're smiling. I look like an asshole.
Yeah.
And but such a great guy.
And he commented on the IG saying, oh, it looks like you're making me blush. Randy is unbelievable, but big supporter of the Block the Hate movement, him and his wife, and just in general. So,
and another cool personal encounter that I had that I'll always cherish is with Rey Mysterio. When I was 13 years old, my dad owned a rim manufacturing company, and he worked with a lot of WWE wrestlers, and a lot of wrestlers got rims from my dad's company. Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, who else, man? Chuck Palumbo as well. And I got to meet Rey when I was like in high school. I skipped school because I knew Ray was coming, and my dad's like, yeah, come over to the warehouse. Ray's gonna be there. And he got there and he looks the same.
Yeah.
Like Ray never aged. So I was like, oh my gosh, me being like a 14-year-old kid, like Ray, like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. And off the bat, he already like had stuff for me. Like Ray, he gave me his mask and he signed it for me. And it's in my mom's house, but his manager Ed at the time, out of the picture that we took that day, his manager made a clock, and the face is like a picture of me and Ray signed it. Wow. Like AT, like much love, Rey Mysterio. So again, that was like over 15 years ago. And the next time that we saw Ray was at Raw, and I didn't get a chance, not this Raw, but like a few months ago. Oh, sorry, Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. But I didn't get a chance to have that encounter with him because he was on the go, but he did say hi. But this time you actually made sure that I had that moment with him because he was passing by with Dom, and you kind of stopped him and you told him like, hey Ray, this is Arnold, he's met you a long time ago. And I got to give him that whole spiel, and I thought that was cool that he remembered. He's like, oh my gosh, yes, like Davino Kuza, like he remembered that moment. And he's like, yeah, tell your pops I said hi, like that. And that just meant the world to me.
Yeah,
man.
and then my fault, like I'm always rushing to kind of, because people are busy, rushing to kind of get them on their way. We didn't get a money shot.
It's all good.
There'll definitely be a next time, because I'll definitely be nosy again.
And you know what's funny? Like if we do have another picture of me and Ray, and we put it side by side, I think we both look the same. Like 15 years later, we still look the same. We're like, hey. Like it was taken the next day.
We got to get it. His son's big, Dominic.
Dom is tall, man.
Yeah, he's tall.
I think he's taller than so many of the wrestlers too. I don't know where he got his height from. But Dom is a crazy athlete. I watch his. I don't think he posted it on his Instagram, but Ray's Instagram. He did a standing shooting star press, like a running shooting star press.
He's in the lab getting it in,
Yeah.
Just because moves aren't being announced doesn't mean moves aren't being made. So he's getting that on the job training by the OG himself.
Yeah, man, the greatest.
The luchador OG, the greatest. Yep.
And I think he's getting trained by Lance, right?
Lance Storm,
isn't he?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
But yeah, that was our whole encounter of Raw last week, which was amazing. And so many things has happened since then. So yeah, again, 30 minutes later, getting back to it, Eric Bischoff getting demoted or released, who knows, but he's shell shock. Yeah, he's no longer in the position that he was given. And I'm curious to hear his side of it, like what went down, because he does have a weekly podcast. And next week, maybe he'll talk about it a little in his podcast about what went down.
And his podcast is called
83 Weeks.
83 Weeks. Well, he should name it 2 weeks.
Oh, shots fired. I don't know. That's good, man. That's good.
That tenure only lasted 2 mother-freaking weeks.
That's good.
83 weeks.
Snap. Woohoo! 2 weeks. I love it.
2-week podcast.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. But yeah, I wonder what his side of it is. But man, so many things going on in wrestling right now with NXT. Finn Balor. Oh, we talked about this already a little bit, huh? Finn Balor back on NXT. No, we probably talked about it off camera.
Yes.
But he came back with a new look. He had a moment with Adam Cole, and he has new ink too. His hand is tatted. But
did you see the one picture with him? The one Guerrillas of Destruction.
Yeah, with the Bullet Club, the original.
Yeah, with the Father Ming.
Yeah, I saw that.
Ooh, but I think they were just hanging out, because they're good friends and having dinner together.
And Tama commented and said for life.
Yeah, so they had to get that money shot for the gram too.
Of course, the OGs, man, the OGs. The 4 original Bullet Club: Carl Anderson, Prince Devitt, aka Finn Balor, what's his name? Bad Luck Fale, right? Something like that. Bad Luck Fale.
I believe so.
The big dude. And Tama. Those are the 4.
Yep.
Man, and actually, Luke Gallows has a tattoo of 4 samurais somewhere in his body, like on his, because that's the 4 samurais that gave him the boost of his career.
Oh, okay.
Which is really deep, really cool, man.
Hell yeah.
But Crown Jewel is coming up.
It's
so many
coming
big
up,
matches.
huge. Like, I feel like it's big. When they do Crown Jewel, I feel like it's bigger than WrestleMania.
It is, right?
I mean, you've got two major matches that I can think of off the top of my head.
Of course.
Brock and Kane, right?
Yes,
And
Cain Velasquez.
and then you have
Braun Strowman. And Tyson Fury.
Yeah, Tyson Fury. He's like their McGregor.
Yes.
When it comes to wrestling, because like his shit's really good. Like he's very convincing, and no hiccups. Like he tells you how it is, and he looks you right in your eye. And that's how you tell stories.
So Triple H was in an interview with Sam Roberts recently, and Sam asked him about he asked him the question of, are you worried that these professional fighters will have a hard time being a sports entertainer? And Triple H is like saying like, well, like with Cain Velasquez, he's he's a beast, he's a great fighter, and like he can adjust, and I think he's done some work with AAA, right? Mm-hmm. So
that
he's
was
been
really
wrestling.
good.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah.
He definitely wowed the crowd with AAA.
Yeah, so he's got that in him. But he was saying that Tyson Fury, Triple H feels that he's a born sports entertainer that just happened to got into boxing first. Mm-hmm. Because he definitely has the charisma, the facial expressions, the in-ring presence.
And he's a lifelong fan, too.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. He was in a stare down last week on Raw with Braun Strowman, and he sold it really well. Mm-hmm. He had the whole dramatic effect and everything with the facial expressions, and he'll have little moments where he'll take his time, to create that moment to be more magical. Mm-hmm. And man, yeah, he's definitely a sports entertainer for sure.
Yeah, so two major matches, man, at Crown Jewel. Man.
Yeah.
Oof. What else is going on?
Team Hogan versus Team Flair.
Team Hogan, Team Flair.
So far, I think Hogan has Seth, Ricochet. Who else? That's all I remember at the top of my head, but there's more people. And Team Flair has...
I seen the picture. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I can't remember, though, so it's not in front of me.
And I just remember King Corbin for Team Flair right now. I think Randy Orton, Team Flair, obviously. But yeah, that's all I remember right now. But I don't know if it's going to be a Survivor Series type of match where it's like elimination tag, or is it one pinfall and then like everyone loses, But man, they're throwing some matches for Crown Jewel.
Yeah, so like this is pretty much like the Survivor Series, huh?
I don't know. Oh wait, well they're still gonna have Survivor Series, right?
I'm not sure.
Because Survivor Series is in November. This is for October.
Okay, so this is like the 5-on-5 is kind of like maybe
just a special moment, once in a lifetime. Team Hogan versus Flair.
Sure.
One last. Oh, and speaking of Hogan, he wants one more match at WrestleMania.
I'm hearing that too.
With Vince McMahon.
Why not?
He says that he has a hard time accepting the fact that his last match was at TNA. Like it kills him. Like he can't sleep at night thinking that that's his last match. So he wants a proper send-off at WrestleMania with Vince McMahon. And he said he had such a fun time working with him at WrestleMania. Was it 21 or something like that? Like, with Vince. Yes. He wants to do it again. And
see, I wish you could have met him, because I ran into him again at SmackDown Live.
Hogan,
and he had his son. His son's
Nick.
Yeah,
Nick was there.
Yeah, Nick was backstage. I believe
snap.
Maybe with his girlfriend or so. But
what's Nick up to? Do you know?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay,
I have no idea. But Hogan was very, very cool to me. We talked. He asked, "Oh, what are you doing with yourself?" And I immediately went into I've wrestled all over the world, but I've never been to Japan. So I'm working on getting to Japan to just experience the wrestling culture out there.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, brother, man, I wish I knew some people out there, but like, I don't know. I don't know who's running stuff out there. Which it is what it is. But yeah, you asked, so I'm gonna tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, he's always been cool to me. He's always been cool.
And he's still maintaining his size, man.
Yes.
He's keeping on brand. Like, he's still Hulk Hogan, That's crazy.
Yeah, but I definitely love to see that. And I could see that match. I don't know if Vince travels to Saudi. Maybe he does.
I think he has to. I mean, you have to be hands-on with that.
I can definitely see it happening at Saudi.
Well, isn't there a picture of like a dinner that they had the first time they did something at Saudi where it's Vince, Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker,
Roman?
Yeah.
Roman, yeah.
Like having dinner with like all the, like whatever, the the politicians and all
Yeah,
that.
the people that have billions and billions of dollars, you know?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like crazy. Crazy.
What a power table, right?
Yeah, power table. And like, it's just like me, you know, I like to just eat, man. So like there you have to kind of maybe eat proper and stuff like that because the cameras are filming you eat. You know?
Yeah, I can't eat during like social events. Like my appetite actually goes down. You know, whenever like there's events and there's like food laid out, like I don't even touch it.
I don't eat too because I don't want stuff on my mouth. I don't want stuff spilling on me. I don't want to have the bubble guts.
But on the way home, I'll order the party pack from Taco Bell to make up for it.
Yeah, I'll order Wendy's when there's nothing else around. At my hotel this weekend. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, it is what it is, baby.
Another topic that I want to talk about is Charlotte Flair. So she's now a 10-time women's champion, right? But she lost it right away to Bayley. And before she lost it to Bayley, she did an interview with Sam Roberts. And
Sam Roberts is doing a lot of interviews. I think we need to I need to text Triple H and say, can you do our podcast, elevate us?
Yeah, man. But Sam talked to Charlotte before she lost to Bayley, and Sam had the feeling that before he talked to her that Charlotte just found out that she was gonna lose to Bayley because when he interviewed Charlotte about her 10th reign, she was very she was making fun of herself because she's like, oh, you're the 10 times champion, and Charlotte had that demeanor of like, oh, who cares? I'm gonna lose it. Like all my reigns have been kind of short. Like what does it mean now, anyways? You know, like I might lose it. I'll probably lose it tomorrow. You know. So she's kind of laughing at herself, but you know, there's like she's probably like sad about that, and she wants to like she's just thinking like, why put the championship on me if I'm just gonna lose it the next night? So Sam feels that she just found out the news that she was losing to Bayley. That's why she had that demeanor during the interview. She was still happy, still laughing, but just poking fun at herself.
Yeah.
But like about her 10th reign, like it doesn't mean anything. And jokingly saying that, oh, I'm starting to like, you know, kind of like be my dad, where it's like 16th reign, but those reigns are short. And like, you know, she's like Rick's lost more than he won. And
but you know, he's lost to the best, you know.
True.
So, and I think Charlotte echoed that too. She's a 10-time woman champion that lost 9 times to the very best females in the world.
You know, I don't think Charlotte should be that hard on herself because for me, I see Charlotte as prestigious.
Yeah,
you know, I see her like her character, the queen and all that. I don't really, when I see Charlotte, I don't think about how many times she's lost.
But that's all my mom talks about, Sasha Banks and Charlotte. Not only my mom, but a plethora of other prominent people. You know, they always put over that these women are elevating the division.
Those two are the ones that brought ice to the women's revolution, man. It was their storyline that got people invested. It was Charlotte and Sasha Banks that broke records of being like, oh, the first women's main event, the first, like so many, like we're like, you know. So
at this point, there's no excuses for 205. There's no excuses for women. You know, there's room for everyone at the finish line. You know, if you're 160 pounds, I won't have any luck with WWE bullshit. You know.
Yeah.
Women, you know, there's not a lot of women being showcased. Bullshit. There's room for everyone at the finish line. That's my tagline. I always say.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And speaking,
when I go to what I was getting to is when I go to these shows that I do, I look at the talent. You know, I look at someone like Gino Rivera, who's got good ring instincts and ultimately wants to be a WWE wrestler, and he listens to me in the ring. You know, you got to be a good listener. You know, I want to do everything I can to elevate him. If I see a particular woman on the show who has a great look and like is decent in the ring, I'm going to do whatever I can to give that person advice. You know? And it's very important for, you know, people on the show to come up to me and like kind of ask for advice, because I've been there. I'm not going to go out my way to say, oh, you should do X, Y, and Z. But if you do come up to me, I'm going I'm gonna give you the best advice I can, and hopefully it resonates with you.
Yeah.
The one piece of advice I give to a lot of talent, all talent, and I mentioned it to Jacob Fott too, who I was on a show with. He's almost like the high flying Umaga, you know.
Is he the Samoan werewolf or something?
Samoan werewolf.
Yeah.
I was on a show with him. My first show with Cactus League Wrestling in Pomona, California, and it was the first show that we were on, and he came up to me as I was getting dressed, and he got to a knee, and he said, "Hey, Oos, man, I'm sorry to bother you, but I like to pick your brain, you know." I said, "Man, you're gonna get advice thrown at you all different ways, but I bet people won't tell you to take care of your body. Your body is what makes your money." And he's like, "You're right, Oos, man. No one ain't telling me that, man." I say, like, take care of your body, stretch, you know, get proper sleep. You know, your body's what makes you money. Ultimately, when you're a future world champion, I believe it. You know, just from talking to him and just his presence backstage, I believe he's a future world champion. You got to take care of your body. You don't want to be handicapped when you make it to the major leagues.
Sure.
So health as well. Take care of that body.
And you also mentioned 205 Live a little bit earlier. Congrats to Lio Rush for being the 205 champion.
Rush, he's been under what's that term I'm looking for? He's been under the radar. He's been under the microscope lately. Stuff that's been going on with him. Remember?
Yes. Oh, of course. Yeah. He's got some backstage heat.
Yeah, backstage heat. But I think he probably they talked to him, or maybe he had a conversation with Triple H and say, you know, and made it better.
Cleared up some misunderstandings, maybe.
Cleared up some misunderstandings. Yep.
From what we heard from the time that we were on Raw, which I thought was really cool, is the fact that the people who's in charge of NXT is going to take over 205.
The people that are in charge of NXT are going to take over 205.
Yeah, to make it more credible, I guess. And I already see it happening because right now they're calling the Cruiserweight Championship the NXT Cruiserweight Championship.
NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Okay.
So they keep on calling Lio Rush the NXT Cruiserweight Champion.
Okay, so at NXT Raw that we were at, they're not gonna have 205 on
SmackDown.
Raw? Yeah.
Well, because main event is Raw, and then 205 goes to SmackDown, right?
Okay.
So I think they're still keeping 205, and
they're keeping the title there too.
Yeah, so I think Lio Rush might defend it on NXT and also on 205.
Okay,
but they're officially calling it the NXT Cruiserweight Championship.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think they should dissolve 205 Live and have that roster be a part of NXT and make the belt look different. Like, don't make it purple anymore. Make it look like an NXT championship.
So have NXT on SmackDown?
No, don't even. Maybe just have SmackDown as SmackDown, and then main event Raw.
Main event Raw.
NXT with the Cruiserweight Championship, North American, World, and Tag Team and Women's, and then just have SmackDown.
Yeah, then it would just be a 2-hour show. They need another 40, 30 minutes to fill.
True. But I mean,
and they don't want to have any throwaway matches where it's just for the house. They want to have matches that are actually be televised.
But what's wrong with the 2-hour show though? If they're already promoting, if it's 2-hour show on live TV, why do they got to make it longer for a live event?
Well, because Raw is 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours Raw.
Yeah.
30 minutes for a main event, and then for SmackDown, it would just be a 2-hour show.
But I'm saying, what's wrong with that?
Why they need that 30 minutes.
Oh.
So that 30 minutes without any TV time or anything, I don't think they would go with that.
Gotcha.
That's when you would have the dark matches,
Yeah.
The dark matches that aren't televised, which are good because that's what it was like for me when I first started doing extra work. That 30 minutes was just they would do 2 or 3 dark matches just for the house. Then they would have SmackDown or Raw. So they want to use that 30 minutes to get it as much exposure on TV or the internet.
I get it. Logistically it makes sense, but it's just messy, branding wise, right? Calling the 205 Live all of a sudden the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and now they defend it on both NXT and 205 Live.
Yeah.
It's messy.
Like everything you're telling me is all new to me. Like stuff is always changing.
Yeah.
The schedules are always changing. The one guy, Nikki, in production that we were talking to, he's like, he's working more than ever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a busy time.
I don't have a problem with this, like how everything's laid out, but to me, like, okay, let's just change the name. Don't call it 205 Live anymore. Maybe call it NXT Cruiserweight Classic. Mm-hmm. So it'll be SmackDown and then NXT Cruiserweight Classic. So it just makes more sense, you know? Because right now they're just like, oh, let's make it NXT Cruiserweight Championship so people care more. And yeah, I'm thinking of branding. It's messy, and I'm the type of person that bothers me that the Universal Championship is red and the WWE Championship on SmackDown is not blue. Like, that's how my brain works. Like, to me, that's like, make it consistent, you know? Like, Raw and SmackDown tag team titles are red and blue. Let's do the same thing for the championships. So that's my OCD-ness. Because when I play WWE 2K20, not 2K20, not yet, 2K19, I make the championship red and blue.
Okay.
I actually played you yesterday.
What the hell? How come you didn't send me footage?
I've had before. It's the same footage of your character.
I know, but I want to see it again.
Okay. I had you wrestle against Chris Masters.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
The masterpiece, Chris Masters.
Yeah.
He was on my shows recently.
You went over.
I would hope so. You know, I love your masterpiece, but you know, I gotta take a W for you.
Yeah, but
he's a good guy, and I always told him I was when I was an extra back in the day, 2005, 6, all those years. I was always scared of him, but he was a nice guy. He was huge. You know, he was huge. He's 36, you know, so I'm 35. It's like he started when he was young, man. He started when he was young, and he's been through a lot, man. He has been through a lot.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him back at it, wrestling, doing his thing. He's a very easygoing guy, very easygoing.
It's good to hear, man. So, you know, with the whole WWE draft thing that's going on and Fox being heavily involved, I've heard stories that a particular, maybe more than one, WWE superstars are cringing of the WWE draft with like Fox commentators like talking as if they're wrestling fans. So they'll have little segments on Fox where the Fox originals, like, I don't know, I don't watch sports, but like their commentators, like, who usually talk about sports, are talking wrestling as if they've been watching wrestling their whole life, treating it like a sport, you know. So they would talk about like, oh, like Bruno Sammartino was my favorite wrestler of all time, and they're saying it in a serious manner, like, yeah, you know, like, he's held a championship for this long. Oh, my guy was Hulk Hogan. And they just seem so out of touch, and you can tell that WWE's feeding the things that they needed to say. And they will say things like, oh, like, whatever, let's say one of their names, like, Brian, what would be your finishing move? You know, it would be the pile driver. And it's like, it's so funny. And like, they didn't mention the name, but a WWE wrestler was like, cringe. Yeah, exactly. They talk about the fact that the one move that he mentioned is the move that's like banned from WWE. So I guess I bet more than one people are cringing at that. But I do appreciate that they're changing it up.
If someone hits a pile driver in WWE, someone's out on a gurney. You know, it's got to be storyline purpose. It's got to be like, oh, like you're out for 6 months.
Oh yeah.
So you treat it as a story.
Yeah. So I followed WWE on Fox, and one, like, their recent post I thought was so funny was Renee Young. Maybe they're gonna make this into a series, but Renee Young kind of like laying the smackdown on like some Twitter haters, and the tweet was saying like, oh, like, you know, you're bad at your job when you ruin like a Stone Cold Stunner, maybe calling a Stone Cold Stunner, and Renee Young like went off in a joking manner like, oh, like you know, it's not like I've been calling Stone Cold Stunners all my life. It's my first time doing it, and plus, I might not be doing that job anymore, but now I got that Fox money.
Oh, I love Renee. I love Renee. Yeah,
but she was doing it in a manner where she's kind of like freestyling to the
Yeah.
camera, which is really funny.
Yeah,
you know?
she's one of the best.
Yeah.
She's one of the best with so talented with no college degree, man.
Really? Wow.
So
Straight
talented.
to broadcasting, huh?
Oh, amazing. But I think she did other stuff.
Oh yeah, no, she did. She was like a host for certain things before WWE.
When she got brought on and she had the show that was on the network, her own show, I was like, man, I have to do your show because she makes me feel so comfortable anytime we did interviews. Because again, I'm always a nervous wreck, but she always made me feel confident, comfortable, all that good stuff.
I love how she's just well liked with everyone because one of her guests was Chris Jericho when Chris Jericho was still in WWE, and Chris Jericho would like tease her a little bit saying, oh, like, you're lucky to have me, like, you know, like, I don't watch your show, blah blah blah. And then they're like back and forth about it, and Chris Jericho kind of slips in like, oh yeah, your last episode with blah blah blah, and then Renee's like, you do watch my show. Chris is like, you know, like little funny moments like that. I know she has the respect from a lot of WWE superstars, which I think is cool. And she does seem, with her, I feel like what you see is what you get.
Yes.
And that's why she's perfect for her job. And I'm so glad that she's doing this now because she's more suited for this. She would have been a great SmackDown or Raw commentator for sure, you know, if she has more experience. But like right now, her strong point is just being herself with no one telling her what to say because she has the personality for it.
Yes.
Yeah, but man, it's so many crazy changes, man, like left and right.
Crazy changes left and right. And what's going on with AEW? Anything else going on with that?
Oh, yes.
Are they on their Are they on their third week?
Third week.
So first week
beat NXT. Ratings are over like 1.4 million.
Yeah.
Second week ratings dropped a little bit as expected. You know.
AEW.
Okay. Yeah, ratings dropped. But what I think is really cool is Chris Jericho is the leader of a faction, and that's never been done before. Chris Jericho's always been solo. He's always been by himself. This is the first time that he has his own group, and he calls the group the Inner Circle.
Yeah, and it's not 4 of them. There's 5 of them.
5 of them, and
it's not 7 of them like the Nexus. It's 5 of them. Has there been a faction that's 5? The
Nation of Domination, maybe at one point.
Okay.
Farouk, Sabio Vega, Kama Mustafa, Ahmed Johnson, Rocky Maivia.
Yeah,
that was 5.
Okay, Professor. Okay.
But they already have the shirt, which looks cool. Kind of has like that Illuminati feel to it.
Yeah, I think Jericho said it. You know, it was the fastest selling shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. You welcome.
I think it's really cool that they're highlighting young talent, you know.
Yeah. That kid Sammy, is that his name?
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of him. He's like a little punk bitch kid you want to just beat the hell out of.
But you know what's funny? He's so relatable because he has a great following on his YouTube channel. He's a vlogger too.
Oh, okay.
He has a YouTube channel. He vlogs his days.
Wow.
And he's just like a regular kid, like in his early 20s, you know? So,
and he's in great shape too because I've seen him when he first started in wrestling. Till now, he's in great shape.
Yeah.
Awesome shape.
So I think AEW is doing really well, taking their time on building talent because the first episode of Dynamite, they were definitely putting the spotlight on Sammy. The next night, they're definitely putting the spotlight on Darby. He has a cool look, you know, with his face half painted. And it's so different that someone that's not known to the general fans, like Darby is getting a world title shot against Chris Jericho. That's Chris Jericho's next opponent, and I think that's so different to what you're seeing with WWE, which is what it's all about, right?
Yes.
Like you don't want to have the same similar product, you want something different. So
AEW does TV every Wednesday.
Yes.
And they have pay-per-views every...
I think sporadically. I mean, I don't...
Sporadically, right?
Yeah, you know, I want to say maybe every month, but I never pay attention to the dates. I just know like they're promoting like the next pay-per-view, blah, blah, blah.
And do they have live events?
I don't know. You know what? I don't think so. Because one of the perks of AEW is a healthier schedule.
Okay.
So the wrestlers have more time to work with other companies like New Japan and other things. So they're not obligated to have so much time taken away from them
Yeah.
for AEW. So I think the obligations are probably the TV tapings on Wednesdays and whatever pay-per-views they have. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but they're promoting, healthier schedules. So I mean, what does that mean, right?
Yeah, because,
no live events.
Yeah, again, WWE does it all.
Yeah.
They have their pay-per-views, they have their live events, and their TV. So you're going 5-6 days a week.
Yeah.
So with AEW schedule, I think maybe something like Jericho's Cruise is something.
Jericho's Cruise is happening. The AEW is gonna be there, obviously.
Yeah. So I like the way their schedule is.
Yeah, and they have they're free to take on any other projects and any certain brand deals. It's not just AEW brand deals. And Cody was in an interview recently, or on a podcast with Brandy, and they're saying that they changed the wrestling business, saying that because AEW exists, wrestlers are getting paid more. He was talking about a certain tag team, which I bet for a fact is the Revival, texted Cody saying thank you for AEW, because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have gotten a raise in WWE.
Yeah.
And then Cody was like saying like, hey, listen, if you want to raise in WWE, just maybe take a picture with my dog or something, and I'm sure they'll give you a raise. Which I thought was so funny and true at the same time.
Because I think you heard it. They're holding on to guys.
Yeah,
WWE, they're
paying
holding
them to
on
stay
guys.
home. It's true, man. Which doesn't sound bad at all, but when you're like passionate about it, it kind of kills you a little bit.
Yeah,
you're just being put on the shelf. But yeah, even it's crazy how much wrestlers have thrived once they leave WWE. Speaking of wrestlers like TJP, he's making more money now outside of WWE and just doing things more globally now.
Yeah, I gotta reach out to him. I think he should be our next guest on From Pro Wrestling. But this was a good episode to just do our thing, because this is how it started. It just started with us before we had guests. So this was a really cool episode, I think.
I love it, man, because we can chat here and talk about wrestling all day, know.
But is it true Mike Kanellis asked for his release?
Yes.
I'm reading that.
Yes, that's true. I heard about that too.
Yes. He's going to be at AEW. He's got to be.
He's so talented, man.
The right people in AEW are probably saying, hey, man, more opportunity here.
Yeah.
So someone like him going to AEW is going to be great.
Because he's great at 205 Live and again, WWE. Sure, he's got a lot of TV time, which is great, but character-wise, what are you doing? You didn't even build up him and his wife yet as a couple on your main roster yet. You didn't build that up, and some general fans who don't watch 205 Live don't know that their thing is that they're too lovey-dovey, too mushy, and they're the couple that you kind of are grossed out by. And once they get on the main roster, you split them up, just kind of like the Authors of Pain, right? With their manager on NXT. Before the Raw fans got a chance to know them as a trio, you already fired the manager, and you don't even know their relationship yet. So that separation doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
But
we talk about Mike Kanellis. What about Rusev? We had an encounter with him
Rusev?
backstage. That was so cool.
He's great, man. I feel like Rusev is just a happy-going guy. Again, he was so happy to see you, and he was
Freddy!
Yes, you got the accent down. He was talking about that.
He's like, Freddy, you have my number? No. He's like, Freddy, we should hang out. I was like, oh yeah, definitely. You have my number? I said, no, I don't have your number. Then how are we gonna hang out?
Yeah, no, he's so again, that's how me and my friends talk, he's like, we should hang out, yeah, let's hang out. Do you have my number? No, and then he looks at me then how are we gonna hang out? It's so great, man. He's just a happy-going guy, and he was talking about we were complimenting him on his shape, right? He's gotten in great shape, and he's talking about how he wants to drop 10 pounds or more.
I said, you've been hanging around Shamo too much. You've been hanging around Sheamus too much, because Sheamus, his heaviest was 270. Now he's 230. I'm 224. I'm Sheamus is a big guy. He's
he's tall.
Yeah, he's Orton tallish.
Orton tall. You're right.
He's not his height, but he's just a big guy. You know? And for him to be 230, and then Rusev, I remember when he was a probably 280, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like his
Wrestling
rookie year,
barefooted.
man. Alexander Rusev back in the day.
Exactly. And I was the first one that did his first match up at WWE. It was a dark match.
Yeah.
And I was ready to go with him because he's a stud. I was like, man, I'll do whatever you want in there, man. But he's a stud. He shows up to Rikishi's school.
Yeah, Knox Pro or something like that.
Yeah, Knox
right?
Pros, and he drops knowledge. So I wrote in the comment section, I said, if there's anyone who is in his presence, hashtag notebook in hand, because there's nobody out there that does it better than him. Stalks his prey and then goes to town like Rusev. I love him in the ring. Babyface or heel, whatever. I don't care. I love him.
I want him as babyface forever. I think he's like so lovable as a babyface.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw him, they have him. His character was heavily representing Russia, even though he's Bulgarian. But at the same time, I thought that he's truly Samoan because again, he came from Knox Pro. He was trained by Rikishi, and he kind of looks like him and Rikishi. To me, almost have the same face.
Yeah,
he kind of looks like Rikishi a little bit. So I thought he was part of the Samoan family at first, and it doesn't help that the tattoo on his back kind of looks like a Samoan tribal tattoo as well.
But I love his look now. He looks like, with that mustache, he looks like Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, he's killing that mustache look, man.
Sometimes when I get a haircut, bro, my guy does my hair and he does my face and he keeps this here for a little bit. Then he shaves his last, and I'm looking in the mirror. I look totally different. I should keep it for one day.
Anyone that has a mustache will forever look like a 70s porn star to me. That's just what it like. Robert Roode, Rusev, like 70s porn star. But anyways, man, this has been a great episode for Pro and Bro Wrestling.
We're wrapping it up?
Man, I felt like we talked about everything,
wow,
right?
Time flies, man. Time
NXT,
flies.
AEW, Raw, SmackDown, our backstage encounter.
Yes. We hit it all. We hit it all, man. And amazing episode. This week I'm at it again. I'm in Newark, California for Big Time Wrestling. So I'm 5-hour drive. I'm driving my ass up there, whooping up on somebody, going to the pay-win, and driving my ass back home, man. So it's going to be a fun weekend. I'm pretty much busy up until the end of the year, so that's very great. Exciting. A couple of organizations are reaching out to me for WrestleMania in Tampa, because wherever WrestleMania is, that's where all the
wrestling promotions are.
Yeah, that's where they go to, because that's where all the fans are going to be from all over the world. So just because moves aren't being announced doesn't mean moves aren't being made. Constantly grinding. Mr. No Days Off isn't just a nickname, man. It's a way of life, baby.
It's true, man. It's true.
Amazing episode, and this hour and plus minutes, please drink it in, man.
Drink it in, man. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Pay the bills, baby. Pay the bills.
If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, wow, I couldn't even say iTunes, give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear, and also write a review so we know what we can do better. And until then, we love you guys, and
block the hate, baby.
Boom. See you guys next week.